Good evening and welcome to Let's Talk Shop with Russ. And one day I'll get a new opening, I promise. I just haven't figured out what to say yet. So glad to have y'all all out there in the chat. I appreciate it very much. I asked a person, and I'm not going to mention their name, but to be on tonight, and they had a death in the family, so they couldn't be here, which that is totally understanding, trust me. So then I'd ask somebody else and they declined, and I was like, wow. So we're stuck with nothing to do other than sit around and talk to each other and about stuff. So that's what we're going to do tonight. We're just going to have kind of a hangout. Now, I wasn't able to put that out there and kind of like the last minute, because like I said, I was waiting to hear from the other person to see if they would show up. But if you have any pictures of your projects that you would like to show, send them to contest@simplywoodencreations.com. Here, hang on just one second. I should have grabbed this before the show started.
I was going to say that was quite a lull in your show.
Yeah, contest@simplywoodencreations.com. That's where you send them. So, and we'll try to show those pictures on here while we're doing that. Plus, I've asked if y'all got any stuff to show and tell, pictures or stuff that y'all want to show and tell and talk about the guys that are on the panel, guys and gals, I should say. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all can do that. Steve Carmichael's out in the chat. I just noticed he popped up. So basically it's just kind of an informal meeting. Now, two things I want to let everybody know about. Number one is we will not be having a show next Saturday. I will be in Atlanta to the woodworking show, so we're not going to have a show. People have asked me, well, do a show from Atlanta. It's a lot harder than what you think. First off, you have to have a good internet connection. I'd have to take my camera and on my computer and blah, 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 blah. And so it's like, it's not that easy, especially this year. I've decided I'm going to fly. And so I'm limited to what I'm going to carry because of my luggage. And so we're just not going to have a show next Saturday night. I'll be in Atlanta, and we'll have the one the following week. And I'll talk to that about it. The next thing is on Wednesday nights, I have Twitch. A lot of people have complained about Twitch being, they're not being able to see me. Twitch is not a great platform except for gamers. It's designed for gamers. It was put out there for gamers. And I've used that platform, and I was just trying to open up something else instead of being on YouTube. We had the show Scrolling Making with Russ this past Wednesday night over on YouTube, and everybody seemed to love it. So there's a good possibility I'm going to be moving that show over on Wednesday nights over to YouTube. And also, just to let everybody know that watches that show, I'm moving I record all those videos, so I have them. I'm moving some of those over to YouTube and starting to post them over on YouTube. Especially the 4 series about the Antarctica squirrel that I did. All 4 of those, I've already posted the first one. I'll be posting the second one, the third one, and the fourth one. I think I'm going to do them like once a week so I don't overwhelm putting them all on. So I'll start posting them also over on YouTube. So people that wanted to follow that series and have asked me, Aussie Man, I think he's out. Yeah, Aussie Man's out there. In the chat, and he even goes, Twitches are great now that you have more. Russ, yeah, he's one of the ones that says that he can't even watch the shows. They buffer so bad over in Australia that he can't even watch the show over on Twitch. And so when I posted it over on YouTube, I know 1 or 2 people even said this is the first time I've ever got to watch the whole show because it buffers so bad over on Twitch. So I'm like, all right, so I may be moving it over to Twitch, the whole thing, and just doing it all on YouTube. And also look for me posting some of the stuff that I did as a series over on YouTube from Twitch. just to let everybody know about that. So, but I appreciate y'all watching me over there on Twitch. Y'all really hung out and been over there. I get sometimes 18, 20 people watching me over on Twitch, which is fantastic. I love it. But I understand your complaints, and excuse me, the oak pollen is super, super bad around here right now. But I get a lot of complaints from people saying they can't see it live. It buffers so bad. So maybe we'll just move the whole thing over to YouTube also. We'll see. So I get something to drink. And being with that, let me talk about my wonderful sponsors, and they are Devobal Technologies for web design, development, hosting. Visit devobal.com. FastCap, innovative products for the professional woodworker. Go to fastcap.com. Rockler, 60 years in woodworking. Create with confidence. Visit rockler.com. Bearwood Supply, your best choice for hard-to-find woodworking supplies. Go to bearwood.com. Klingspor, the sanding specialist. Woodworkingshop.com. And Seiko, the scroll saw specialist. I love my Seiko scroll saw. I really do. Since I have had it, I can honestly say that it's been a joy to use and everything. And I didn't think it could outdo the DeWalt, because I love my DeWalt 788. But yeah, it's a lot better than the 788. So that being said, let's go. I know Barn Rat Studio said he missed another Maker's Rock. I missed it this year too. I've just had so much going on this year that there was just no way I could get around to doing it. Steve French is out there. Wow. Got a lot of y'all out there watching. So, and I hate that, but I'll get into it next year. For those of you who have donated to my niece's fund, she has stage 4 lung cancer. I appreciate that. And she's doing pretty good. She's hanging in there. She started her treatments and everything. She's got her Social Security and benefits and their Medicaid and everything all kicked in. So she's starting her treatment. So all we can do is pray. You know, that's all we can do. She has a stage 4 lung cancer. So, also Michael Anthony Murray's daughter is doing great. She's starting her lung radiation treatments, and they just did a big thing over there to donate money for her, and she's doing really good, and they're doing really good on that. So, all right, that's enough about all that. Enough of me talking. Let's go down and let everybody introduce themselves and tell you where they can find themselves, and that we'll start off with Brenda.
Thanks, Russ. I'm Brenda G. Brenda G's Designs. Say hey to everybody out there in the chat. There's a friend of mine out there, Luana's out there. Glad to have her with us this evening. And you can find me about any place on the internet if you type in Brenda G's Designs. And that's BRENDAG''S Designs. And let's see. I'm on YouTube. I do a live stream that is a support and humorous facts stream on Thursday nights at 7 p.m. this week. Al Forte.
Mind blown.
Forte. He will be with me this Thursday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time. And I also have some craft videos on my channel as well. So there you go. Thanks, Russ.
You're welcome. Chris Ahern.
Hey guys, Chris here from the Old Cranky Workshop. Please ignore the light going up and down behind me. It's there's an error code running in my camera. I can't fix it while we're doing this. So anyways, you can find me on YouTube and Facebook. I put a quick video out a couple weeks ago on projects from 2018, and Mother Nature's breaking, so we should be back in the shop soon and get some work going soon. So that's all I got. Back to you, Russ.
Cool. No doubt that what is the name? Punxsutawney or whatever. Punxsutawney. How do you say that?
Punxsutawney.
Oh, yeah. Well, anyway, he lied this year about the damn winter, because he said it was going to be short and over with, and there's people getting snow. I mean, big time snow. Menensa, the lady that does pyrography, she posted some pictures, and the snow was up like a foot above her on her windows around her house. today.
Yeah, if you're going to take your weather advice from a critter that lives in a hole, I think you better reevaluate your lifestyle choices. So.
Yeah, for real. So, Dixon, how are you doing?
Hey, Russ, thanks for having me on. Dixon
You're welcome.
Hoffman at Hoffman Signs and Decals, and you'll see me running around once in a while on Facebook.
Great. John is back. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much. It is good to be back and alive and kicking. I've spent last 5 weeks in the hospital with lung problems, emphysema, and all that stuff. You know how us stupid smokers are. Well, actually, I'm not a smoker anymore because it's been over 6 weeks since my last cigarette. So I'm done with all that jazz. But it's great to be back. It's great to be feeling better. Thank you for extending an invite to me. And anyway, you can find me on Facebook.
Great.
Thanks, sir. Back to you.
It's not going to be an easy road, my friend. I was a smoker. I quit in 95 or 96. I was 3 packs a day and sometimes more. So it's not going to be an easy road, but I'm going to tell you, I thank God the day that I was able to lay him down and walk away from him. Trust me. And
well, I actually quit from 87 to 99 and started smoking again. And I quit cold turkey the first time, didn't have a problem at all. But I've been trying to quit for about a year now. And this little vacation in the hospital really did me good. I mean, I don't feel like I need to smoke or anything, not having any kind of withdrawal or cravings or anything like that. So
that's good.
That's it.
Hey,
I'm done.
If you need to talk, I'm always here.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Hey, John, by the way, sir. You sound and look a lot stronger and a lot healthier, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
You sound like you're feeling better.
22-inch pythons, baby.
Well, I wouldn't go quite that far, but anyway.
Well, that's just because he's jealous. That's the reason he wouldn't go that far. All right, Katie, how you doing?
I'm doing good. My name is Katie. I'm on Facebook, and I'm here to just stir up as much stuff as I can and see if I can't get Russ's blood pressure up and going.
Oh, yeah. Trust me, you can do that. You're going to Atlanta, right? I'm
planning on it right now. I'm pretty torqued. My truck is down.
Oh, okay.
And I'm pretty sure it's a fuel issue, but
all right. Hope to see you there.
In the previous chat, I'd said something about a UPS had dropped the ball in getting one of my parts here.
All right. So I hope to see you there.
But yeah, I'm hoping to be there, trying real hard.
Good. Ken.
Hey, Russ. Thanks for having me on. My name's Ken Moon from Moon Pie Creations. You can find me on Facebook, YouTube. I like to call my channel a DIY, but I'll be honest, it's mostly turning videos now. So before we go on, I thought Matt Haas would be on here, and I had to bring this up. Has anybody seen his video announcement for Makers Rock?
Yep.
Yes, I saw it.
he wears one of these underneath his uniform.
Go see it.
He makes a great Freddie Mercury, doesn't he?
He actually does.
That mustache is something else.
Oh, when I saw it, I'm like, oh my God, they should have hired him to do the Freddie. Yeah, he is real funny. All right, Al Forte.
I guess I wouldn't even mute myself out. I'm woodworking and maker shop. Kilroy 79763. You can find me Kilroy 79763 just for fun. No matter what you do, do it just for fun.
Just for fun. Paul.
Hey, Russ. Hey, Chris. The end of the world clock behind you there. How much time is left on it? You're muted.
8 days, 4 hours, and 44 minutes.
No, that's to the end of the world, right?
No, that's till St. Patrick's Day.
Same old, same old.
Yes, the high holy holiday.
High holy holiday.
Yep.
Hey, I'm Paul from Paul's Messy Workshop. Glad to be here. Thanks, Russ.
You're welcome. Chris, are you going to Atlanta?
No, not this year.
Okay.
When it was time to make, back when it was time to make reservations for flights, hotels, a rental car, I was in the middle of that shutdown.
Yeah, I know.
I
couldn't. Thought that.
Yeah, I couldn't spend the money back then. So,
yeah. All right.
Hey,
by
we've
the time
got
we get back to work,
people in my hotel room.
by the time we get back to work, I couldn't change the schedule.
Yeah, no problem.
So,
And Mr. Steve Good.
Hey, Russ. Thanks for having me on tonight. I'm Steve Good, Scroll Saw Workshop. Come by and check me out if you need any scroll saw patterns.
Yes, that's for sure. One thing which was pretty cool, Steve, is I did the not this past Saturday before, I believe it was, or anyway, well, in the last couple of Saturdays, I did the Rockler thing. They had their Founders Day, and I did scroll saw demonstrations all day long and had people come by and everything. And one of the biggest questions they asked me was, and I was going to tell you, do you have business cards? Do you have them printed?
I've got thousands of business cards.
Send me some, and I'm serious. Send me some, because one of the biggest things I had them ask me was, where do you find patterns? And I was like, I've got a site that's got patterns on there just for you. All you got to do is just. But then when you say the scroll saw workshop.blogspot.com, they go like, huh?
Yeah, like what? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my daughter and my son-in-law run a printing business, so I've got business cards out the butt.
Well, send me some. I'm serious, because I'll take them to me when I do those Rockler things, and I'll give them out to people, because that was I said I tell you what, they had a pencil out, and I said, write down Steve Good, and they said okay. I said, do a Google search for Steve Good, and you will find his site. Trust me.
Yeah.
Testimonial. I was looking at my email, and I have made it one of the emails that comes in every day. Once you subscribe, every morning at 6:05.
I know.
Morning, you've got a brand new pattern. Oh my God, that's awesome.
Look what's sitting right next to my computer.
Yes.
That guy look familiar?
That's even scarier.
Yeah.
I did a lamp.
All right, enough about damn Steve Good. This is the Russ show. Come on, clear him out. Give me a break.
Wait a minute, what's a scroll saw?
Steve Good show.
No, that was just so funny, because I had it more than once. I mean, several people come up to me and said, I'm just starting to scroll saw. And oh, by the way, the day that I was up there at Rockler, I sold 2 scroll saws, 2 DeWalt 788s in one day.
That's cool.
So, yeah, he was like, the manager was like really, really happy. But so anyway, I was like, they kept on coming up to me. Where do you find patterns? I said, well, I try to make most of my own, but I've got a friend of mine that's got all the patterns you'll ever want. And I said, they're from beginner all the way up, and they're all free. And they went like, he gives them away? And I said, yeah, he actually gives them away. So
Russ, every morning.
Russ, we have some people in the chat room that don't know about Atlanta, so you might tell them about Atlanta and what goes on.
Oh, okay. Sure. Every year, for as many years as I can remember, and it goes back even farther than that, is that they have the woodworking shows, and they're all over the country. Mostly, they used to go more west, but now they're pretty predominantly, from my understanding, over on the East Coast. But it's called the Woodworking Show. If you just type into your Google woodworking shows, it'll pop up, and they go from as far as north as Michigan, St. Louis, Missouri, all the way down. They've been in Tampa, Florida, I went over to the Tampa, Florida show. It's only like 35 minutes from me. And, but for the last 3 or 4 years, they go to Atlanta, and the Atlanta Woodworking Show has kind of been a hangout for a lot of woodworkers and makers that are on YouTube. So this year in Atlanta, they're going to have a woodworking show again, and a lot of us, I would say there's 50, 60 woodworkers off of YouTube that flock there to Atlanta Woodworking Show, as kind of a meet and greet. Now, Zach over at Southern Woodworkers, well, actually, he's at what's the name of his? Southern Ginger. Zach over at Southern Ginger started a thing called Southern Woodworkers, and they actually went there in the last couple of years. Last year, I believe, or year before last, they had a booth called Southern Woodworkers, and that's where a lot of people go to be in that booth called Southern Woodworkers. But it's just a great show. They sell tools. They do a lot of demonstrations at these shows. You can actually learn how to turn a pin. Now, the one they had over in Tampa, they were charging people like $5 for to turn a pin, but you were actually paying for the pin kit. But they were giving you a pin kit that was really worth about $7 or $8, wow. And that didn't even include the wood. So you had to purchase the pin kit for like $5, and then they would show you how to turn the pin and make it. So you can turn and make a pin if you've never made one. They had like 6 small lathes set up with people right there to help you and show you how to turn the pin. There's if all these demonstrations are free. There's Alex Snodgrass does a bandsaw demonstration. You've got a actual pin making demonstration. I can't think of some of these people's names. There's like Wooden Magazine, or one of the magazines has somebody there doing talks and shows. I mean, there's just a lot of stuff about, not only you can buy tools and they give real good, some of these dealers like Woodcraft and Rockler and some of these others that attend these. I don't think Rockler attends, I'm sorry. It's Peachtree that attends these shows. Micro Jig attends.
Hey, Russ, look on my screen. It shows all the vendors.
Okay, there you go. Here we go. Thank you. So those are all the vendors are going to be. Now, is this at all the shows?
No, this is the one in Atlanta.
Atlanta, okay.
The only thing that I'm curious about is I had heard Peachtree wasn't going to be there this year, but there's
you are correct, my friend, and the reason being is because the owner of Peachtree, from my understanding, either his sister or his daughter, and I think it was his sister, that runs the all the woodworking shows for Peachtree, has cancer.
Oh.
And she's not doing very good, and so they elected to back out this year. But my understanding, they're reevaluating to see how she's doing, and that type of situation. But he posted that he was going to continue doing the woodworking shows, and he regretted just to have to be out this year. But I think it's kind of, they caught them off guard. She was like, went to the doctor. She was having some problems, and boom, she's got cancer. And, so it's one of those things that it was unexpected. And the best thing for him to do is just back out from this year. But I have heard, I've talked to Rob, I've talked to several of, Rob and the Gwinnett Woodworkers have used their room up there to actually have their Gwinnett Woodworkers meetings up there in the Peachtree Woodworking shop up in Atlanta. And from my understanding, he said that this is a temporary thing. They'll be back next year in full force. They'll make the decision and see
I've talked to that owner a few times, and he's a super dedicated guy to the community. So I'm sure he'll try to keep it going.
Yeah, from my understanding, he allows the Gwinnett Woodworkers to use that room in there they have for classes and everything set up. They have their meetings there for free.
I've been there a couple times. It's really nice.
Yeah. So, but that's what, I don't know if it's his sister or his daughter, but it's one of the family members that is not doing good, and that's the reason they canceled it for this year.
And any of y'all that buy woodworking supplies online, Peachtree is a great place to go look. Their prices are pretty good. They're better than Woodcraft, barely, but they have stuff.
They're comparative, and they are very, very comparative. Matter of fact, I bought several things from them that were cheaper than Rockler and from Woodcraft. So they're very competitive. So I'd like to have him on as a sponsor. Maybe that's a possibility. I'll talk to him, but Anyway, but that's what's going on with it. That's the only reason they're not there this year. And from my understanding, they're coming back next year once they get this thing sorted out this year with what's going on in the family. So
That's good.
And I hope they do. And you're right, because they contributed a lot.
They need Peachtree bad, because Peachtree was kind of the heart behind the whole show.
It was. I can honestly say that when I went to the Tampa Woodworking show, it wasn't. They didn't have as many vendors there as they normally do, but it was still a good show.
Yeah.
All the people that were there, Alex Snodgrass was there, all the people doing all the demonstrations and teaching, Laney Shaughnessy was there. All those people were there doing their demonstrations, everything. It's just the vendors that sell the tools wasn't quite as many as there normally is. So, but from my understanding, what you just showed, there are going to be quite a few in it. One of their biggest shows.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And I did want to say something to everybody. Last week when I said I wasn't doing the show, I got attacked by fire ants. And I know as everybody's saying, oh, you got attacked by fire ants. You hurt really well. That's still what it looks like as of right now. They got me good. It goes down my arm and on my side over here. They got me predominantly here. They started working their way down. But, they got me pretty good, to the point that I went in and took a couple of Benadryl, and after about 15 to 20 minutes, my arm started going numb a little bit. So I got kind of worried. I didn't know if I was going to have to go to the ER or not, but that's what happened last week. Last week we didn't have the show. I canceled it. So I really thought my wife come home. My daughter was coming over with an EpiPen. They thought that I was, especially when my arm started tingling. You know how you go to sleep on your arm and you wake up and it kind of feels numb? Well, that's the feeling I was starting to get. So I was kind of start.
I'm just glad they didn't start at your ankles and go up. I can just see you showing everybody that one.
Yeah. Wooden Stuff said, Steve French said, if you weren't so sweet, Russ, the ants wouldn't feast. Oh, ain't that sweet? See, Katie, why can't you be more like Steve French? Well, you guys be so mean to me. Jim said, how does your wife like the gifts from me, Russ? That she loves them, she likes them. She saw them, I gave them to her, and then she appreciates and said, thank you very, very much. He made some stuff for my wife, and I got to tell you, this guy hasn't got a lick of sense. He just got out of the hospital. Did you get out of hospital Saturday morning or was it Friday? Anyway, he got out of hospital either Friday or Saturday morning and drove over to Orlando to see me at Rocker and doing my scroll saw demonstrations. I'm like, dude, he was in the hospital. He had a kidney stone and drove over there to see me and then brought stuff to give him to my wife. So I was like, man, he didn't look good that day. As far as I could tell, he wasn't feeling real good, but he finally sat around for a while. One of the ladies brought him a chair, and him and his wife sit there and talked to me for a while. He finally said, I'm not feeling good, Russ. I'm going to head back home. So, but I appreciate you coming over there. He got out the hospital Friday evening, and Saturday morning he was over there in Orlando seeing me. So, dude, you ain't got any sense. Take care of yourself. I appreciate you coming over and seeing me. I really do, but take care of yourself too. I ain't that important, trust me.
That's right.
You didn't have to agree with me, damn it. Okay, so do you want to do anybody got on the panel do anything they want to show and tell?
Brenda.
Brenda does. Oh, Brenda does.
Brenda, right. You're not allowed to show that. This is a PG show.
That's
pretty.
Is all done in paper. This is paper quilling.
Paper what?
Paper quilling.
Oh, it's cool.
That is cool.
Yep.
Is that going to be a peacock?
That's a peacock. And I put it on this, it's a lid to a box. So it's a little
just how do you
decoration
do
there.
that?
you roll the paper up. It's 1/8 inch thick strips of paper, and you roll up the paper to make your designs.
So you start from the center and you've rolled that to make that shape.
Right.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, it is pretty.
Now, is that paper glued together, or is it just the tightness of the rolls that hold it there?
The tightness of the rolls pretty much hold it there. You glue the end, of course, to keep it from unraveling.
And it's a little thin piece, right, Brenda?
Yep, 1/8 inch thick pieces of paper.
Right.
That is really neat.
That is. That's beautiful.
And then you bend the paper, to whatever shapes you want it bent in, and glue it up. So
that's nice.
That's what I've worked on all week.
Are you coming out with a video on how to do that?
Not on this particular one, but I may come up with some videos on some other projects coming up.
I would definitely do that, because I'm interested in seeing how you did that.
You should know how to make people feel inadequate.
No, I understand how you said you did it, but I would like to see you.
You have this little teeny tiny fine needle that's on a handle, and the needle has a slot in it, and you stick the very tip of the paper in there, and then you just start rolling.
Right.
And once you get it rolled up, then you have to let it relax however much it is you need it to relax for whatever size you need. And then you just glue the end of it so that it doesn't unravel any further, and bend it in whatever shape you need to bend it in.
I still would like to see a video.
That's how you get the shape of all the tail feathers, and the neck, and then I did the head. That's a separate piece, and then the 3 little dots up there for the little top knot that peacocks have on them.
Beautiful.
But yeah, that's what I've worked on this week.
Did you say something, Al?
What do you glue it with, Brenda? Because I see I see me using this right here, and then all of a sudden, I got this going on, where I can,
you use Elmer's, just regular Elmer's glue.
Yeah, Elmer's tastes good too.
And you have to use it real fine. You put it out on a stiff piece of card, like an old credit card or something, and then you smear it out real fine before you dip the pieces into it. And then that way you don't have a bunch of excess glue that slopping out all over everything that you have to clean up. But yeah, it's a tedious process, but some pretty things can be made with it.
Oh, yeah, that's beautiful right there. So.
Now, do you paint that paper as you go, or when it's done, or how do you get the colors?
You just use whatever color paper you want to use.
I can see making a jig where you could hand wind it or put a little motor on it with a button.
They do have electric winders.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Steve, yeah. I see a pattern in the works for
I'm always thinking.
There are electric winders. I don't happen to have one. I just do it by hand.
Like a Tim Allen, with a big V8 motor.
More power.
Yeah. And it gets a hold of the string on your clothes. Your clothes start disappearing as it sucks it all in. Just want to go real quick and shout out to a few people who are over in the chat. James Paul's out there. Luna Pierce. Pierce. Is that Pierce?
That's Luana Pierce. Yes, she's a friend of mine. Yeah.
Luana Pierce is out there. Aussie Man. Matt Haas is out there. Patrick's Wood Shop. Hi, Patrick. He says, "Hello, fellow woodworkers and woodworker wannabes." Barn Rat Studios is out there. Steve French, my good friend Steve French, Moon Pie Creations. He's here on the panel. Barn Rat Studios. Just going back through trying to see who's all out there has been posting in the chat. But those are all. I know Steve Carmichael was in there earlier. Ken McCrory, he's out there in the chat. All those people are out there in the chat, and I appreciate you so very, very much. We have 48 people watching right now, so that's really, really good. So
I got a couple things I can share if you got time.
Sure. Yep, I got time if you got money.
I got a couple of recent patterns that I put out of little
Oh,
models.
wait just a minute. You haven't put out the money yet.
Yeah, I'm gonna get my advertising in here. Here's
Yeah.
a biplane that I just recently modeled. This is available for free if you want this pattern. It's kind of fun.
I saw that the other day.
First plywood, and that's available in my catalog now.
Hey, hold that up from the top, though. How many layers is the fuselage? Okay.
3.
Now
Yeah, it's 3 layers. The center layer's got the pilot in it.
okay. Okay.
Hard
Now,
to see, I'm sure.
yep.
So this is 3 layers of 1/4 inch, and then there is some 1/8 inch Baltic birch plywood on here too. The wings are 1/8 inch, the tail wing is 1/8 inch, and the decorations are 1/8 inch. So you have to have 1/8 inch and 1/4 inch Baltic birch ply to make it. But that was kind of fun to make.
Nice.
And then I did this one about a week ago. I know some of you have seen these already, but this is my little sailboat that I made.
That I thought was unique. I was like, wow, I would
That's
never.
awesome.
Yeah, that is.
I actually took quite a bit of heat on this pattern. Can anybody guess why? I had some actually pretty upset people.
Because of the girl?
Roll
You got a
center.
naked woman on there.
Yeah.
They said I over-sexualized it, but I don't really
Oh,
see
I don't
give
think
me
so.
a break.
I think it's because of that horsey thing that's on there. That's what it is. That's
Oh,
what,
that right there. Yeah.
The seahorse. Yeah,
No, no. Everybody knows women on a boat is bad luck. So
Well,
Chris, you're gonna get the hate mail now.
were pretty upset with me, and they thought it would look like, you know, the lady on the mud flaps on trucks.
Yeah.
yeah.
That is kind of a sexualized, you know, type of
That's
thing.
an iconic. That's an iconic icon, though. You know.
Yeah. But this one, this was from an actual person, and I thought a lady on a boat was perfectly okay. But anyway, I took some heat over it. But this one's available on the.
Just tell them to go take a hike.
Yeah.
Or swim off a short plank.
Yeah.
Or tell them
gonna
to leave it off their boat. They don't have to put it
You-
on there.
Or
You
tell
just
them
have to
take
make a
long
miniature
walk
bikini.
Tell them to take a long walk off a short bridge.
That's what I meant.
I've talked about this before, though. But when you put yourself out in public like I do, you have
Oh,
to
I
be
know.
willing to take it. I just take it. So
Yeah.
anyway, that's a couple things I had to share.
No, those are cool. I saw the boat, and I was really fascinated by the way you did the boat. I was like the way you layered it up.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that's really pretty cool. And I never even
The only thing I ended up not liking is I don't like the cabin. I don't like the way I did the cabin. I needed to come up with a better idea. The windows don't look right. But
Well,
other than that, I liked it okay.
I'm sure after this one, you can go back and you'll probably make better, make another one that's better than that one.
Well, that's the thing. I never make anything twice. So
Oh, well.
you
Well,
know what it is, Steve? It might be scale. It looks like if the rail was shorter, the cabin might look okay.
if what was shorter,
If the rail was lower to the deck, the forward rail,
yeah, it's
that
definitely
was
not.
down lower, the cabin might look okay.
I see what he's
Yeah.
saying now. Yeah.
Yeah, this is too big, isn't it?
Or the
Yeah,
word
I think it's a scale.
would have caught flack.
That's it, Steve. You have no credibility. Get off.
Steve's doing porn scroll saw.
You would have thought, man. Two people just gave me heck.
That's
Wow.
crazy.
That's amazing. That is actually amazing.
Well, I bought a new tool this week. I got a Performax 1632 drum sander off of Amazon Marketplace. So I've been spending the last few days just running wood through it and seeing how nice it makes sawdust.
Everyone go ooh at the same time.
Yeah. Ooh, that's nice.
You will not be disappointed with that tool, Willie. There, Russ.
No, that's the same one. That's the same one I got.
I got the same one too, and I love it.
Yeah. I did those.
What grit sandpaper do you usually run on?
120 is all I use on it.
I use a lot more. I'm using like I think 80 on mine.
I think
But
I have used 80 and I've used 40, but it leaves lines and cutting boards and stuff, so I went to 120.
Right. I use but what I'm using mine for is basically a planer. I mean, when I make the cutting boards, I want to take it down relatively quick because I'll go over it with my orbital and take the scratches out. So, but
notice you don't get any snipe with it.
Yes, and you
No.
don't get any snipe, and it does a fantastic job. And I'm basically using now. I could turn around and use it with turn around. It doesn't. The greatest thing I like about it is it takes only a couple of minutes to change the paper out.
Yep.
Yeah.
You've got the other paper right there. You can unlock, pull it off, put the other one on, and be right back with 220 after I do the 80.
I wish I would have gotten the extension tables like you got, Russ. I don't have those, and I wish I did.
Did you get those, Paul?
No, I don't. I got the rolling stand, but not the extension.
Get the extension tables. You don't have to have them right now because it makes a big difference if you're doing longer materials.
Oh, okay. You can still get them through Jet. They're not that awfully expensive.
They're only like $115.
Yeah.
So it's not too expensive.
But like I said, I use mine when I did those 2 cutting boards. I set them all up and did them, and you don't have to worry about running them through the planer and getting a snipe, and then you don't have to worry about adding pieces because I was doing in-grain cutting boards to keep from messing them up. I just put 80 on there and run them through, and it was like, oh man, this is so nice.
And it's a whole lot quieter.
Yes, a whole lot more quieter, and it just made a great job. And then you can, if the boards are small enough, you can actually put them like the one cutting board was small enough I could turn it to the side and run it through at a diagonal place, and then come back and turn it to the other way and run it through diagonal, and then you don't have those. It kind of like overlaps those scratch marks, so you don't see them as much. It makes it easier to sand. So.
I'm trying to find it on Amazon. What's the brand name of it?
Performax.
Promax. Performax.
Promax, yeah. Mine says Supermax.
Or yeah, I think it's Supermax.
Yeah, mine's a Performax. It's PERFORMAX, I think.
Yeah. Or
it's made by Jet now.
The Promax are the same.
It's made by Jet now, I believe.
Okay, I see the one from Jet then.
Yeah,
little
but
over $1,000.
Yeah, mine's not from Jet. Mine's from
Laguna.
Well, mine's Performax, but they sold out to Jet a couple of years ago.
I think they did, yeah.
Is it that one?
They're like 1,500.
No.
That's not it?
Nope.
Because I'm looking for one.
They're around 1,500 or something?
I bet Supermax. 1632.
The Supermaxes are about $1,200.
Yeah.
Yeah, they show them for 1,600.
Yeah, well, if you go to Woodcraft and you get them and tell them you want a good deal, they'll give you 10% off on it if you go in the store.
Yeah, the Supermax, I believe.
Is that it?
That's it.
So you like this one pretty well, huh?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, I'm not going to tell you how much I got mine for with the stand and with the extension tables.
Where'd you get it at? Rockland?
No, I got mine through Woodcraft, but I know the guy over there at Woodcraft, and it was Woodcraft, and it was the Tampa Woodworking Show last year. They had a special on them, and then he gave me I got the whole thing with the stand, the thing, and the extension tables for $999.
I got mine for $600 used and with sandpaper, but no extension bed.
Yeah, mine was brand new.
So if you have one of those, you wouldn't need a planer at all.
I guess if you were going to mill rough lumber, you'd still want a planer.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say you don't need a planer if you have one of those. But if you're doing end grain cutting boards, that's the ticket, and you get stuff flat with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you were doing a lot of stuff where you needed a thickness board, then I would say, yeah, a planer's the way to go. No ifs, ands, and buts about it.
Here's something I had, and you're saying, so this, I just did this last week with laser, but wood, from a tree. So you'd be better off running this through a planer.
No, you'd be better off running that through a sander.
Okay.
Yeah, I would think the planer would be too rough with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you get tear out and everything where you wouldn't, especially if you eased up and did like Ken was saying, like use 220 and did some real light passes. It'll take that thing right down, and man, it'll look sharp. I did a couple of. I'm trying to think of what I did my cutting boards. There was something else I did. I did a CNC project. and I wanted all the interior parts of like the letters and everything to be real dark and black, but I wanted the exterior to be like the light colored wood. So what I did when I first got mine is I went and did the CNC, and as soon as I got it all done, then I come back and sprayed like 3 or 4 coats of lacquer onto the project. Then I come back and took paint and went in and paint all the letters, and I wiped it if it got on the outside, but I wasn't really careful where I was taking a lot of time, which left the outside to have some black on it all around the letters and whatever I was forming. But then I turned on that sander and put 220 and took some real light passes, and it sanded all that black and the lacquer back off, which I was wanting it to do because the lacquer kept the black from soaking back into the wood and staining it. And I made a few passes with that, cleaned it right up, blew it off with my air, shot some lacquer back on it, and that thing looked fantastic. So, and I've run some scroll saw projects through this squirrel. Matter of fact, I ran through that just sander just to even everything out on it. I mean, he has a scroll saw project, even some fretwork projects will go through it as long as you don't take you get a thin like 220 or 320 and you take really light passes, it'll do it.
A whole lot better than using a random orbital on it.
Yes, a whole lot better.
Well, I've got the sand flea, which works pretty good for fretwork, but of course it's just a single drum, so it's
right.
not. And you can get snipe on the sand flea also. Plus, it can get pretty aggressive sometimes too. So,
well, now what kind of grit sandpaper do you run on your sand flea?
I think I've got 80 on the sand flea.
80? Oh, wow, that's really aggressive.
Yeah, but I've got several different grits. It's just that usually when I'm using it, I'm actually taking off thickness.
Right. Well, so really good. If y'all have any questions, and here, let me go over, and I said I was going to check and see if we got anybody's project stuff.
I know Aussie Man was going to send you some pictures.
Yeah, I got some
Hey,
pictures.
Russ, I got one real quick while you're looking. I did this cutting board for a cousin of mine, and with it, I've never done this, but rolling pin with it.
Oh, nice.
I've never done a rolling pin. And it is like the most simplest project that became the most complicated project you'll ever think about with this thing. I started thinking about how to seal the rolling pin, right? So what do I think? Well, maybe put some resin on it, to seal it. Well, I don't know what kind of resin I've seen people put on these things, but the resin I used did not level out very well, so it was like this the whole time. So I ended up wet sanding this entire thing down to about 15,000 grit, and got all the resin back off, and then I just used walnut oil. And
Why can't you use mineral oil like you would use on a cutting board?
I thought I was going to use mineral oil, but when I use mineral oil on my cutting boards, sometimes when you're using 2 different types of wood, you can get a raised grain on it.
Okay.
And the walnut oil I had in the lathe building, the mineral oil is in a big giant vat in my storage building. So
mineral oil and a mixture of mineral oil and beeswax works pretty nice too.
That's what goes on this next. It goes on the cutting board last, and then I'm going to put that on here too. So
I prefer just straight mineral oil. I don't know. I've used it.
Well, the wax seals it and helps the mineral oil not seep out as quickly.
Yeah. You don't have to apply the mineral oil as soon if you use the wax with it.
Hey, Russ.
Spalted oak I gave a bunch of guys. This is a small cutting board that I did with it.
I use that spalted oak you gave me is in that squirrel right behind me.
Yeah. Oh, nice. I filled some of those bug holes that was in it with black CA glue.
Yeah, mine had the bug holes in it too. I was when I was trying to find a nice clean piece.
Dan Inge wants to know what's the thinnest stock you can run through a drum sander.
An 1/8 inch?
I'm gonna say 1/8 inch.
Yeah.
I think you can get it down. I think you can get it lower than 1/8 inch.
You can get the drum comes all the way down to the other paper, so you can get it paper.
Yeah, I
thin.
think you can do it lower than 1/8 inch. But my point is if you wanted it that thin and you needed it that thin, you could always take a piece and like hot glue it to a bigger piece and
and make
like
it
if I had a piece that was an 1/8 inch thick and I was trying to get more off of it and my drum sander wouldn't go any, I can always strap it to the hot glue it to the top of a 3/4 inch piece and I can take it right on down. Now you can do that same thing in a planer. If you need something that's thinner, most planers will only go down to 1/8 of an inch thick. I know.
Yeah.
Most all planers will only make it down to 1/8.
The test I did this weekend, I could only get down to 1/4 safely, and then after that, started to chip. Yeah.
Yeah, it starts to flap
On a
around.
planer, if you go below 1/4 of an inch on a planer, it tends to grab the wood and break the wood apart.
Well, that goes back to if you hot glue it to a piece that's thicker and then try to take it down, you won't have that problem.
Yeah, you got to glue it.
Yeah, but you got to get it. Yeah, you got to glue it somehow. Get it somehow. I would say hot glue. If it's a pretty good sized piece, you can hot glue it, or you want a temporary adhesion because unless you want to permanently glue it to the big piece and then run it through the bandsaw where you cut the two pieces off, but that's another pain in the butt hassle.
One thing that I've done is I've taken blue tape and taped the tape down and then put CA glue on top of there and then take another piece and then stick it up on the top piece. I've even used it on the CNC that way. That works.
Yep.
Great.
Yeah.
And
That's a good trick that they use on the CNCs.
Yeah. The hot glue gets lumpy, but the CA glue doesn't because it squashes right down. This is the way to do it, I think.
So those of you who don't understand, he's taking like if you have this piece and this piece, he's applying blue painter's tape to this piece and blue painter's tape to this piece, and then using CA glue to stick them together, and then you could run it through the planer.
Yeah.
Then the tape, it peels off real quick. You don't have to mess around with.
Yeah, there's a Mark Lindsay uses, he's the one that I learned that from. And Mark Lindsay uses that a lot.
I think that's probably where I learned it too.
Yeah.
And the direction of the grain makes a difference too. You know, you want to run it downhill.
Yeah, because it doesn't.
It's like rubbing a cat backwards.
Exactly.
Yeah, you don't like that stuff somehow. All right. I have a lot of people ask me out there real quick, and I've been doing a few things this past week, and I'll go through places like Hobby Lobby and even Walmart, and I'll see stuff that that catches my eye, and I'll take a picture of it. And the reason I do that, I have a little thing that I think is fascinating, to be able to take a picture, bring that picture home, put it up there on my screen, and then recreate it in a Corel Draw. I think that's fascinating. One of the things I did a while back is the snowman that I showed everybody. This was in Hobby Lobby, and I went through there and I saw it. And I'm like, hey, that looks really cool. And that'd be so easy to make. And so I took a picture and came back, created the pattern in Corel Draw, and made it over there on Twitch around Christmas time. So, and I just love doing stuff like that. And so,
now, when you say you put it in Corel Draw, do you put your picture in Corel Draw and then
you can put your picture up there in Corel Draw and just use it as use it to help guide where you want to make it or how you make it. Yes, you can. And so that's the reason I'm really careful when I'm take the picture to make it front on and make sure so I can get help it make the dimensions. But once I get through, then you toss the picture and then you make the corrections to the size. And one eye in the picture might be a little bit because you got it tilted a little bit, that you can realign the eyes and do stuff like that. So I was doing that. So I was in I was in Walmart, and they had a bunch of these signs up. Some was about family, some was about home, some was about different things. And I took some pictures of those signs, and I thought this was really cool. And so I recreated this out of that sign, or the picture that I took from the stuff out on Walmart. And I cut this past Wednesday night on Twitch. This is just nothing more than a clear pine that I stained dark walnut, and then this is Baltic birch plywood and cut out, and I stuck it on the front.
Hey Russ, I know I've asked you before. What do you design your templates on?
In Corel Draw. Yeah, I use Corel Draw. But you know, I just think it's kind of cool. You can take a picture, bring it home, you can recreate that, and this is just for my own personal. You know, I like doing it. I think it's like fun because you see something and you go like, wow, that really wouldn't be that hard to do, and take a picture of it. You make it.
And so do you import that PDF then into, you can do that in Corel Draw and look at it?
It's not a PDF. You can import JPEGs, PNGs, anything,
right.
PDF.
Right. And then you can actually trace over it if you want it, right?
If you get a good enough clear picture over the top of it, you can actually trace it. Yes.
Yeah.
And for anybody out there that might be interested in that, you can go to Amazon and get an older version of Corel Draw for usually well under $100. And the thing is, because of what we do as pattern designers, we don't need 90% of the features in Corel Draw because it's designed for graphic designers. So you only have to learn a half a dozen tools to be able to use Corel Draw to make patterns. And it really does work well. You can get Inkscape, which is free, but it's just a little harder to use, not quite as well laid out as Corel Draw. But if you look on Amazon, sometimes I've seen it as cheap as $40.
Yeah, Inkscape sometimes has a couple bugs in it too, I noticed.
Yeah, you know, for free, it's a good program.
Right.
For instance, I'll take this. Let's go back to this one, for instance. When I took the picture, obviously the signs are over the hat, so you can't tell where the hat's actually at underneath it. You can see this part, and you can see this part, so you have to fill the lines in. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
When you're tracing it through the picture. That's very obvious. And then you have to come back and create the signs that go over the top of it. So actually you're creating the two signs with the letters, and then the hat is another piece. So, but yes, you can use, if you get a good frontal on picture, and I use my iPhone, which I love it, takes a nice big picture. I'm talking about 3,000 something pixels by 4,000 something pixels. It's like, you know, it's easy to do. And, I do it all the time. I see stuff, you know, like this. I saw this. The one says family is a blessing or something, and home sweet home. And there's a lot of them. All right. So I downloaded Kathy Wise's pattern for the squirrel several weeks ago, because it took me like 4 weeks to complete the pattern over on Twitch. But the thing about it was I was doing it as a sequence so everybody could see me doing it. And so here is the finished project from Kathy Wise as the squirrel. I haven't, my wife and I have been married for 14 years, going on 15 this July or June. And I haven't done an Intarsia project in 15 years. So it was almost like starting all over again in some way. So, but I had a good time doing this, and I realized why I quit doing them. It's not that I don't like it. It's just there's a lot of work, I think. Now, Brian, which I had on the show, he can whip this out in one weekend, but he does it all the time, so he's very proficient in it. You know, and there's a lot more work than just, I can cut this sign out and cut everything, stain it, and put it together in a couple of hours. Easy. Where this takes, you know, a lot more time. So,
when you do Intarsia, the art of Intarsia is all about contouring. So it's more like sculpture than it is woodworking. You know, you've got to get the contours of the shapes. And if you go to, if you're interested in Intarsia, there's a lady who is actually the master called Judy Gale Roberts. And
yes, Judy Gale Roberts.
Intarsia.com. She has hundreds of patterns, and many of them are just remarkable.
Yeah.
And she also gives classes down there too, and it's an incredible shop.
Yep. So, and this is one of the more simpler, I won't say the most simple, but one of the more simpler patterns that I picked out to try doing it again. But getting, like Steve was said, on this, it's very simple. It's almost like a round over on a lot of the stuff, just rounding it over to get them fit back together. But when you're doing stuff like he just showed on there, and like Brian I believe his name Brian Perdue, which showed us the horse's head with the mane that flowed down from it. Oh man, that just, that takes a lot more sculpturing of the wood to get the look that you want it to have. And so I wanted to do something kind of light to start off with again. I didn't want to get anything heavy for myself, so I just jumped on this one, and I'm going to do a few more of them. I'm not an Intarsia kind of guy. I like doing stuff that's, I can walk in my shop in one morning, and if not complete it by that afternoon, have it done by the next day, easy. I don't like sitting there day after day working on a project. So, but this is my squirrel, and I just put a backer on him. He was done with a CA Fast Cat 2P10. Is what I originally, and all those 4 series, I got number 1 put up, and I've got 2, 3, and 4 that I'll put up over on YouTube, where you'll see how I made him live over on Twitch TV.
Hey, Russ, do this one next, okay?
Yeah. See, hold on. Let me lock onto that, Steve. Yeah. See what I'm saying?
You can knock that out in about an hour, can't you?
Yeah. That's intense. Look at that. I mean, that is
several hundred pieces.
Yeah. Yeah, this squirrel probably has, let's say, 30 pieces total.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, I know. People
556 pieces.
Yeah, people do that, and I'm sitting back in awe. They love it, and they do that kind of thing, and I love to look at it. But I'm the kind of guy that I want to be able to walk into my shop and over a weekend create something that's nice, and not spend the whole weekend. Maybe go 3 or 4 hours on a Saturday and start staining it, and come back and finish it on a Sunday. I'm not sitting out there for 3 or 4 days working on a project. And one of the other things I would like to point out, which I love Kathy Wise's patterns, and I'm sure that what'd you say her name was, Steve? Good?
Judy Gale Roberts.
Yeah. They usually, in their patterns, they will put arrows in the direction of the grain. And that's another thing you need to look at. Like this one had the grain running, and I did the grain this way. This one had the grain running this way. This one had the grain running this way. And I followed her directions on where to run the grain, which makes a big difference in the look of the pattern when you put it back together, or when you put it together, I should say. So that's one of the things you want to look. And also some of the patterns have, they will suggest wood. They will suggest like a light, dark, or whatever. And some of them even will suggest the type of wood, like use cherry here, or, mahogany here, or walnut here, or whatever. So when you get the pattern, it has a lot of more information than just the outline of all the pieces. There's a lot of stuff in there, and it'll have a lot in the ledgers on the outside that you can read on the suggestions on some of it, and to get depth and stuff. So Judy and Kathy both have awesome patterns. And we talked
Sue
about
May is another one.
Who?
Is her name Sue May?
No, she's not in Tarja.
She's not in Tarja.
She's not. I'm sorry.
No. Another thing we talked about when Brian was on my show is don't start off as a beginner with the pattern that Steve Good just showed you. That's a no-no. Start off with something simple like the squirrel, or some of their more simple. They have beginner patterns that and I think Brian said that Kathy Wise has a book out of beginner patterns.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you why. You will start cutting as a beginner on one of those bigger patterns, and you'll get frustrated, and you'll get, and you'll quit, and you won't finish the pattern. You want something that you can come in and complete in one weekend and get it done, and then you can look at it, and it wasn't that hard. You're getting to learn something, and you look at it and say, wow, that looks pretty nice. I really like that, the way it turned out. And then as you progress as an Intarsia scroller, you get to do more and more and more. And the more you do, the better you'll get, like Brian does. And now he can he could have done this in like an hour.
These teddy bears are always real popular, and they're not nearly as difficult as they look.
Yeah.
Very
There you go.
$6 for the pattern.
Yeah. And
Russ,
like I said, they have a lot of information on the pattern that tell you the grain direction, which helps you. They tell you, they suggest woods to use and stuff like that to help you along with the pattern. But definitely don't go out and get one of these patterns that are just so damn complicated if you're going to start on this. Thank you. I appreciate that. Aussie Man said nice. Several people were saying nice.
James Parker said he sent some pictures over to
Okay,
you.
yeah, I'll get to them in just a second. So, great tips. Lou, what's her name? Luana?
Luana. Yeah.
Luana. Yeah,
Luana.
Luana. Thank you. She said that was pretty nice. Beautiful squirrel. Thank you. I appreciate that very much.
I sent a video if you want to play it, Russ.
Hold on, son. I'm going back through the.
And I've got some pictures on this, and I can show.
Okay. Okay. First off, what'd you say, Ken?
I said I sent a video if you want to play it.
Okay. All right. Is it? Can I play it?
It's for you, really, but
okay. Well, I need to know that before I play it on the show.
No, you don't have to play it on here. I was playing around with you, but it is of the project. It is of the project I showed you guys earlier. So.
Okay. That'd be the last thing I knew to do is kick off the show for playing Ken Moon's porn. Al Forte, go. You said you had something?
Yeah, I've got something. It won't take too long either. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Share.
Al, take up a few minutes. I've got to take a little couple minutes.
You bet. All right. So I think I'm sharing my screen. Am I?
Yes.
Yes, you are.
Okay. So let me go ahead and power up the PowerPoint. Yeah. Okay. Well, it didn't power up. There we go. So I've been working, and this is not the first time, but one of the first times that I've glued chairs together. And this chair was actually falling apart. So I figured I'd go ahead and take it apart even more. The wife got some estate sale items that she buys and sells and stuff. And one of them were some chairs, which no big deal, but gluing up was pretty cool. I thought it was cool the way it went back together. And what was even neater is the chairs themselves had this intricate pattern. I can't tell if they were hand done or if a machine did them, but that was pretty cool, the actual pattern they had on them. And of course, the glue tasted really good. It was the Type Bond 2, which is water resistant. I think once it dries, it's okay to use outside. We're not going to put these chairs outside, but
it's a little tangy though.
Went together real well. Pardon me?
It's a little tangy on the tongue.
Yeah, Type Bond 1 is a lot better tasting.
Oh, yes. yeah, definitely. And Type Bond 3 is a little hot sauce in there with that, and it's even better. But so anyway, the chairs turned out like this. They turned out great. So in the same theme with chairs, I'm building a table that's a gaming table, and you can kind of see at the top. I don't know if you can see at the top right there. There'll be an LCD TV. And I went ahead and did this cradle for the top, and the TV will sit down in there. And I still need to trim. Actually, I've trimmed it already. This is just a photo of it without being trimmed. We're going to put electrical outlets on it and grommets. Again, I got the grommets cut, and the end of the table was trimmed. And there's the LCD, and there's going to be a plate glass up on top of it. And they're going to have a lot of fun with it. And speaking of fun, does anybody know what this is?
Prism.
This is a prism. This is the album from the Maker's Rock album that I'm going to be doing. Probably going to pop next Tuesday, I think, video on this, on the build of it. And I want to keep it real simplistic. It's going to be the Dark Side of the Moon. I started working on it in Photoshop and in Fusion. Anyway, I ended up doing it in Easel, which is the Instructables online software to do graphics, to cut. And of course, there is the Makers Rock album art collab. www.makersrock.com. Matt Hoff will love it if you go enter. There's still time for everyone to enter. And I guess that's it. Let me see if I can stop sharing.
Is your game table going to be a touch screen?
No, it's not. They're going to hook up a laptop to it, and the laptop will be the actual program that has the D&D map software on it, so that when they're working, but the pieces will sit up on top of that 1/4-inch plate glass, and hopefully, maybe, I don't know, I'll stream the first game that the table, if they allow me to. That's what the guy that commissioned me to do the said. So we'll see.
So the screen will have a game map on it. Is that what it is? The screen has a game map on it, and the pieces sit on top of the screen.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's like if you had a paper map, but this is an actual map that changes. Like the different rooms will be totally clouded over, so you can't see them at all. And then your men will actually move, or your pieces are actually move to the next room. You know, as it opens up, you see what's there. You know, you see a dragon, a red dragon sitting in the corner of the room, sitting on top of some treasure. What do you do?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
It's going to be.
It is pretty cool.
Anyway, that's all I got.
No, I saw that build, and I've watched Al a few times over there on Twitch when he does his when he's been building it. So, but when will you have it totally complete?
Tomorrow at 2 p.m. I'm not going to have it totally complete. I'll be on Twitch at Kilroy79768. Okay. But tomorrow is going to be the pre-stain seal that I'm going to put on it before I stain it. And then maybe this next week I'll be on a couple more times since it's spring break. And then I'll get the stain on there, and then we'll get the polyurethane a couple of times.
Cool.
So hopefully maybe by next Sunday, you know, not 2-3 days. Well, not tomorrow, but a week from Sunday, it'll be almost done, if not done.
All right. So let me get over here and see. Barn Rat Studios sent me one. This is February. Aussie Man pics. Okay, so I can do it this way.
You know, and it seems like I keep making tables. I think this is like the third table, the folding picnic tables, the upcycled picnic table, and now this table. I don't know, maybe tables is what I need to start working on.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to lock myself in and screen share and share and go down. And these pictures are from Aussie Man.
That's cool.
Yeah, nice. Very nice.
I like how it's framed too. That's neat.
I've got a question for Aussie Man, and I don't know if you can answer it in the chat, but where are those fish? Because in the desert of Texas, we don't have fish like that for some reason.
I don't think they have them in the desert of Australia either. But
they don't have a lot of things in the desert,
right?
Those are really neat. Wow,
a nice spear.
That's cool.
It is.
Eve and Rob. Nice.
Go back to the spear, Rob or Russ. Somebody tell us about that.
That's we don't know anything about it. That's Aussie Man's out there in the chat. Aussie Man, you want to tell us about the spear? He's out there in the chat. He said that those come from the northern coast of Australia.
Gotcha. Thanks.
They have a sailfish out there.
By the way, I think Russ has got something. He sent it in the chat from the group.
Yeah, if you can get it on, I'm trying to save it and it won't save to my computer.
All right.
I know what's going on here tonight.
Okay, you got it, Chris, then, right?
No, I can't get it to save for some reason.
Okay, then I'll try to save it.
He's not responded yet about the spear, so
I'll work on that, guys.
That's beautiful. That's really nice work right there.
Well, he does some beautiful work, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. Never ceased to amaze me. The spear was just a fooling around project.
Jeez. pretty cool fooling around.
Wow, those are nice pins. We have, there's a lot of talent out there, and people that are just out in the chat have so much talent. Beautiful pins. I love how he did that. How you want to call it, a sculpt or whatever, the swirl on the. Wow.
Yeah, it's cool.
Very nice. I've got it up. You guys are ready?
Oh, the a cup with the, what is it called, eccentric rings or whatever?
Captured rings.
Captured rings. Oh,
there you go, captured rings.
I've tried that numerous times. I succeeded once. Those are tough to do.
Yeah. Wow.
That's cool.
That's beautiful.
What was that put together? Oh wait, I can't see it anymore. Yeah, I guess it is. He turned the shaft. That is awesome.
Yeah.
And then the bottom piece.
No, the rings are part of the same piece of wood.
Yeah, on the captured rings. Now we've done move forward. We're talking about the other one now.
Yeah, the lamp. Is that what that is?
Yeah.
That's decent.
But the captured ring is you turn it as one piece and then you actually cut or break these loose off of it on the captured rings.
Wow. I do good to turn the thing round, nevertheless.
Hey, I know how to do it. I turn the rings, and then turn this bottom piece, and then glue it back on there and make it look
That's exactly what I would have to do.
Yeah.
I saw Carl Jacobson do one, and I got obsessed one weekend to the point I burned through so much lumber trying to do it. So I finally got one to work, and I gave up.
Beautiful.
Al, you got Russ's piece?
Yes, I do.
All right, good. I won't save to my computer for some reason.
Yeah. When Russ,
owl, nice chest.
That's cool too.
That's sweet. I like that wood.
Yeah.
When Russ surrenders his time to me.
Look at that's a cane he made. Or
Hey Russ, it's not locking on you for some reason.
It's not locking on me?
Well, it's not on my end.
Well, everybody be quiet then, and it will. I could have swore I locked it on me before I went over here.
It is. It's just in the inside chat that it hasn't.
I think that's what you're saying, Steve, because outside chat, I do see it locked on the screen.
Oh, wow. Beautiful.
Yeah, that's cool.
I love how he went back in and painted or stained or whatever the birds.
Hummingbirds.
Yeah, that is pretty. Aussie man, you've got some damn talent out there, dude.
That's cool.
Yes, ain't it?
Maybe Aussie Man would come on one day and
yeah.
Jeff. That's really nice.
Yeah, we need to have him on here and all right, so inbox, we did him. Oh, this is from Barn Rat Studios. I recognize this. I watched it. He made had a company send him these mouse traps. And he took the mouse traps, the wood off the mouse traps, and turned them into some cheese cutting boards and stuff. Isn't that ironic?
Those aren't blood stains, are they?
And I got to say, they're unused, right?
Yeah, they're unused boards. Yeah, they sent him some brand spanking new mouse traps, and he made these.
I was about to say that's some big mouse, and I see one that says rat trap. Okay, that explains it.
Or rat traps. I'm sorry. Yes, some rat traps.
No, I was thinking it was a big mouse. So.
Yeah.
I think he's the YouTuber that does all the recycled wood projects, right?
He does.
He's pretty cool. I enjoy watching him.
Yeah.
If you don't
But,
subscribe,
it's just I can't think of the name of the company he did this for, but this one actually has the cheese slicer on it. If you see right there.
Yeah, nice.
The wire slicer, so to speak.
Yeah.
And then
I wonder if he fabricated the wire slicer himself too.
this is
He didn't. He bought a kit.
Oh, okay.
this is disc. Okay.
Disc golf rate.
Yeah, I can't. But oh man, that is cool. I like that.
Well,
Look how he did the little the damn fire ants that bit me.
Yeah.
Look how he did he scroll saw the legs into that. Isn't that cool?
Yes, it is. Wow.
Yeah, you would have to pick those damn things to show up on my show.
Is that a paddle for corporal punishment?
Yeah, no, I don't know what exactly it is. I mean, it's got a hole up here, but
I think it's like a wine bottle holder or something.
It might be a wine bottle holder. That could be it. Yeah.
That's what it is, I think.
The whole, it's actually my pattern.
I'm flashing back to the element.
He said this is a Steve Good. You don't recognize that Steve Good?
No, that's what I said. It's one of my patterns, and the hole's not for a wine bottle. It's an ant hole. It's just an art piece.
Oh, it's just an art piece. Oh, it's one of those patterns that you made one night when you had too much to drink, huh?
Yes. Yeah, I was thinking about you.
Yeah. Whoops, this project download.
Okay.
Should I even try to show that?
I say you go ahead and play it full screen and turn the volume up.
Oh my God, Russ, it's a trick. Don't do it.
Well, I'm going to trust him.
All I can think of is that Star Wars meme where it says, "It's a trap."
Yeah.
Oh, wow, look at that.
Oh, that's neat. You got to be careful, Ken. You'll mess up the motor on your lathe.
When's it go flying off?
Want to see more?
Can y'all hear that?
Yeah.
Subscribe button. Hit the thumbs up button and leave a comment.
Leave a comment.
Now, what is that you have in the lighter places? Is that epoxy or what? A rosin?
Yeah, that is Total Boat and honeycomb aluminum.
Total Boat and honeycomb aluminum.
This video should be out this Thursday coming up.
All right, so yeah, I can. It looks cool.
So in your video, do you show how you did it?
Say again?
In your video, do you show how you did that?
Yeah, I do. I'll be honest, I've never worked with resin. You guys saw that last video I put out, and I kind of screwed it up when I did that little blank, just messing around with a piece of burl and the resin. I went back and actually read the instructions this time, and I'm not saying it just because they get, I'm working with Total Boat, but it was super easy to use. I used one of their little cups instead of the little squirt nozzles, and I had no trouble. The resin hardened up in no time at all, and I did wait a couple of days to turn it. 3 days, I think I waited just to let it cure a little bit more, and then I sanded and sanded and sanded and sanded and kept sanding. So,
Was the aluminum honeycomb resined into the side of the wood? Is that what you did?
I put it inside the hole and put resin into all the little crevices, and then around it, and then turned it off. So
and when you turn it, it cuts the aluminum off too, right?
Yep, sure does. That aluminum is really soft. Zach Higgins sells some. I didn't get mine from him, but he sells it. And I got the idea for this bowl, and then another one that I'm doing with Total Boat from watching them do a pen blank. The next video's got a lot more honeycomb aluminum in it. So,
do you have to sharpen your tools that much more often?
If you use the traditional tools, you do. And I did use traditional tools to start off on this one, but I went over to a negative rake scraper, because it's better with the resin. The resin and the metal together causes it to chip out a lot. So it took me a little while. You'll see it in the video. It took me a little while to get a good a good feel for how to cut the resin.
Nice.
All right, this is a Ken McCrory's.
That is awesome.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
Intarsia Pro. Yeah, that is beautiful. Just stunningly beautiful.
That's one of
Wow.
those ones that you don't want to do it your first time.
Yeah, that's one of the ones you don't want to try the first time. That is Ken, my friend. That is just stunningly beautiful.
I like the wood choice too. It looks-
Yeah.
Those little, I don't know what to call them, little seeds in the center. They're not seeds, I know that, but those are really cool. Those little,
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Wow, the detail's amazing on this.
Yes,
It is. That's what I said. I mean, you would be surprised
Wow.
how much talent is out there in that chat that we have out there some nights. I mean, like, these guys are just incredibly talented.
It's like
I mean,
watching us, right?
Yeah.
I may never do another video.
I mean, what I see, and I say that myself also. Let me get back over to y'all guys. When I see some of these guys and what some of the stuff they're doing, I see some of the stuff I'm doing. I'm like, wow, these guys are far superior to me. I mean, that Ken did that or that wreath. That, I mean, I've never done anything that beautiful. Never done anything that beautiful.
He said it's cedar and walnut.
Cedar and walnut, beautiful, my friend.
Did he get the green naturally, or is there a dye on there for the leaves?
On the leaves, Ken, did you get it naturally, or is there any dye put into that? And what walnut would be the leaves, so cedar would be the flowers.
Okay.
Yeah, beautiful.
And the leaves look like they're contoured, kind of shaped themselves and cut in the center.
Yes, he actually did a here, we'll go back and look at it.
He
Real
said
quick.
there's no
green.
There's no green in it.
It looks
Yeah, I
green.
was wondering where you were seeing green too.
Yeah, I didn't see no green on the leaves. It's just the dark. It looks nice. It's crazy.
My mind thinking it's green.
You see leaves and you see green. I can see that.
Sure, but it's just,
Steve, you see in colors that we don't. I'm sorry.
It's those mushrooms. I know what it is.
I wasn't gonna say anything.
Steve, I'd expect that out of Paul, but out of you, shame on you, Steve.
Okay, so let me go back and I don't see any green after looking at it either, Steve. I think
Let
let
me see it.
I think you are a little let me lock on myself. Go to screen share. Hit share.
Hey, Luana says she saw green in the wreath, and
It looks green to me.
And the mushroom is free here. What? And the mushroom free here?
Yeah, there's no green. That's walnut and cedar. But look how he's not only contoured the leaves, but yeah, these are like veining he's done up in the leaf or actually this is the petal of the flower. He's done veining up the petal of the flower and veining in the leaves.
Wow.
That's just tremendous work.
Outstanding.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
I'm assuming that's about a foot wide.
Yeah, how big is that, Ken?
We're waiting. Yeah, we're waiting. Luana says, looks green to me too. No mushrooms here. Okay.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Luana's no help.
Let me go back and look. I think we got another person.
Ken says about 12 inches.
And I've got, okay. And I've got one more to show from, who was it from? Oh, from Russ.
Russ Meadows, yeah.
Russ Meadows.
He's out there somewhere.
So let me know.
Okay, so whoever, let me go back this up to KJ Cooper sent me some pictures just recently, and they do not work, dude. I don't know what you've done.
Hey, did Jimbo send you some also?
Did Jimbo send me any? Hold on, let me look.
Saying, unless he didn't get them sent to you, or
nope. I don't have any from Jimbo.
Okay. And Ken says, nope, it's 15 inches.
15 inches. Okay. Nope. And KJ Cooper sent me 2 pictures, but they will not open up. I don't know what's wrong with them. I click on them and it says 404 error or temporary. Yeah, temporary error 404 can't open.
And it needs to go to contest at Simply Wooden
He's
Creations.
got the address down right. Contest at Simply Wooden Creations. It's just how he sent them or whatever. It says a picture attachment. When I open them up, they won't open.
Sounds like he sent you a link. If you're getting a 404 error, he sent you a link.
Yeah, it's a link to the pictures. What I was thinking too. Yeah. Maybe it's a link to the pictures. But he said, Steve, good. I use your guitar strat pattern to play guitar for my 3-year-old grandson. That's cool. What he was trying to send a picture of. Yeah, sorry, but they're not opening. Okay, so let me get back over where I can see y'all guys. And yeah, they wouldn't open, so I can't show them.
You want me to show Russ's then? Or?
Yeah, go ahead. Show Russ's. Let me lock on you.
All right, let me go and
share. Go
ahead. So I am sharing my second screen where we left off. Assuming it's being shared, it's saying it's shared. Okay, so this is where we left off the table. That's not what we wanted. I have no idea why this is here, but it's there.
It looks strangely familiar.
Yeah, it does.
That was the best project I've seen tonight right there.
I have no idea how that got in there, to be honest with you. I'm going, what? How is that? But this is the one right there that Russ sent me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's neat.
That's nice.
And I'm assuming he used the CNC on that.
That's a CNC. Yeah, that's a CNC project with word on word done on a CNC.
Nice, nice. Very, very, very nice. Love it. Love it. Okay, let me unshare again then. It's right here, and I'm unshared now.
Okay. This is that's from Sapili.
From Sapili. Cool.
Yep. Half CNC and half hand routed.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes the CNC you have to go back in and maybe cut something that wasn't cut right or fix something, or hopefully not, but that's usually the way it happens for me.
Yeah, I got news for you. I have a CNC, and it's definitely not 100% all the time.
Yeah. And it just depends on the wood. You might hit.
It depends on a bunch of things, and one of those things, it depends on speed, the type of bit, and when I say type of bit, if you're going to go down and buy those Diablo bits and stuff like that, you might as well hang it out the door. They might work for one project, but that's about it. You got to pay some good bucks for a good bit.
Mm-hmm.
And the second thing is speed of the router, as far as how fast, many inches per.
Second.
Your feed rate.
Yeah, the feed rate. Thank you.
Feed rate.
That's the feed rate. And then again, the wood. The wood makes a lot of difference in what type of wood it's cutting, and you need to adjust the feed rate according to the type of wood that you're. If you're cutting in pine, you can cut a hell of a lot faster than if you're cutting in a real hard maple or something. So it's not 100% all the time, and you can get chip out. It's just like any other thing that you're doing. It can find a piece of grain that's just didn't grow in there just right, and it comes across it, and boom, you got a hole. So they're not infallible. They do great work. Don't get me wrong, and I love mine, and I've had some good success with it, but I've also had failures.
The more you use it, the more you learn which bits to use and what wood to use, the easier they are to use, like anything else.
I've gotten, and I hate MDF.
It's great for painting and carving, though. It's super fine, but it's dusty.
So sweet.
Yeah.
On a CNC.
Wrecks your bits, but
you take that calendar I did on it, Aztec calendar I did. I mean, the detail in that thing, and all I did was cut a piece, spray paint it 3 or 4 or 5 coats of red, and then sit it in there with a 60-degree V-bit and let it go to town. And the detail, it's sitting right over there if y'all want to see it. But
Yeah,
the detail that came off of that is just unbelievable.
Do you have a CNC, Steve?
Do what?
Do you have a CNC?
Yeah, I've got the one from Inventables.
Mm.
I don't use it very much because I stay too busy, but it's fun to play with.
Yeah,
I've done hundreds of signs, and guess what? When I start, I'm still crossing my fingers, especially when it's got to run for 5 hours.
Yep. But you take this, I mean, just the detail that it was able to get in there and some of those small.
That's awesome.
Now, how long of a print was that, Russ?
How long of a what?
Print was that?
I don't remember. It didn't take long.
That's almost looking. That's looking like maybe an hour and a half.
Yeah, I was going to say 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah,
yeah.
Depends on what your feed
It was
rate.
all V-bit. It was very simple. But I mean, look at the little scarfs around here. Look at this. The detail in that.
You did that with V-carve though, right?
Yeah, V-carve.
Yeah, that's why you can get the little. That's why you can get the little symbols with the same bit and the big ones, and it dives up and down like it's supposed to.
V-carve Pro.
Yep.
The hardest thing for me is I get fascinated watching it, and even though you're supposed to be able to go do something else, I'll sit there for 5 hours watching that damn thing carve.
Look at the little damn circles that it made up there on that. I mean, and look here, even these little lines. like I said, the detail in this when I did it, and that's what it makes me a total lover of carving this, is because if I tried to carve this and I'm not a lot of hardwoods, you wouldn't get that.
Yeah. Whenever I do an inside sign and they want it painted, that's the cat's meow.
Yeah.
Is that
Well, the MDF has a consistent density.
right?
Right.
It doesn't have a grain to it.
Glue and wood.
Glued sawdust, basically, and they've compressed it down so the density, there is no grain in the wood. The density stays the same all the way through it.
The bad thing is it kills bits and
Yeah.
And lead up your bits. Yep.
Well, now it kills bits like Baltic birch plywood kills blades on a scroll saw.
Absolutely.
Them are the ones when you do those, you buy them cheap Diablos because you don't care. You run 3 signs and throw it away.
Yeah, you go buy a $9.95 60-degree V-bit, do your project and your sign, throw the bit in the trash and go on, because you charge them for the $9.95 for doing the project.
Hey guys, look who snuck in.
I saw
Hey,
that.
Russ.
Welcome, Russ.
There he is.
Who left the door open? Come on. Jeez, we got to get security better around here.
Did Kim drop out?
Yep, Ken left.
Yep.
Did he say goodbye?
No, he just
He said goodbye over in the sidebar.
Oh, okay.
But
yeah, that's what you do is on those you do when you're doing something like that, you do go buy the Diablo bit and you figure that $10 into the project and then throw the bit away and don't worry about it.
I've already been doing a sign. I pull the Diablo bit out, throw it on the grinder, put it back in, and finish the sign, and it was fine.
Yeah.
Throw it in the trash.
But when those good bits are like the white side, CMT,
Amana, yep.
Amana makes some damn good bits. White side's good, and so is CMT. But you if you're going to buy those bits like you're getting from Home Depot and Harbor Freight and Lowe's and places like that, those bits are not going to be the same quality as the.
I've got some 32nd inch bits. You ought to try playing with those things.
Yeah.
You take a
I have some professional milling bits like that are that small, but boy, you better take it easy, slow.
Well, what I was trying to do is I was trying to replicate what you can do on a scroll saw on a CNC machine.
Yeah.
And you can do it. You just have to take incredibly light passes.
Yeah.
The problem is I can cut it out 30 times by the time it can cut it out once.
Yes,
so,
right.
You know.
The catch is the speed, because the little bits like that they want to start smoking.
Yep.
With your speed on your DeWalt or whatever, you got to really have that set right.
That's the reason when I did these clocks, when I sold a bunch of these, people wanted them, and what I would have the CNC do was do all the lettering and do a 1/8 inch pass on the blades. and stop. And then I would take it out and sit the next one in there and let it start all over and start cutting out the lettering. Then I would take the square piece over to my scroll saw and cut out all the blades on the scroll saw. And by the time I got through, that would be ready, and I would just bring over another one, set another one, and cut it out. I had a production line going.
Now, what are those made out of?
That, well, it depends. Some of them I made out of whatever the people asked for. This particular one right here is just made out of just plain pine.
Jimbo said he resent those pictures, Russ, so you might check and see if you got them.
I think my SWC clock got lost in the mail somewhere. Well, it only took me 3 years to get a sticker, so I guess we're not doing too bad.
Hey, you think you got problems? You ought to ask my daughters. They asked me to do something. They'll tell you real quick, like, go ahead, ask him to do it. See how long it takes you.
I started a bed about 13 years ago for my girlfriend and myself, and it's still sitting up in the rafters out in the shop.
Yeah. Well, I took about
you can't rush into these things, you know.
My daughter wanted me to make her a ladder shelf for their bathroom, and asked me to make it. And I said, yeah, I'll make it and everything. And so anyway, I think it took me 6 or 8 months to make that damn ladder shelf. So I'm not Mr. Speedy Gonzalez when it comes to
I know what you mean, because my daughter-in-law has learned the secret to getting me to make something, because she's supposed to tell me about 3 weeks ahead of time, and she tells me last night I got to have it by Thursday.
Yeah.
What?
Here's what my daughter
said. I just tell them, well, I guess you ain't gonna get it then.
That's what I told my wife. I said, you should have asked somebody else.
Yeah.
Here's what my daughter's figured out. She tells my wife what she wants and makes my wife tell me, and then she knows it'll get done.
Oh yeah. Here, let's go over here. Let me see. Jimbo sent. I finally got these pictures. This is one of Jimbo's. Yeah, that's pretty.
That is.
He does some fantastic work. He gave my wife some stuff, and it's in the house. I'd have to go in and get it, so I'm not going to walk all the way back in there. But look at that teacup and shelf. Isn't that pretty?
Oh, that's neat. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, the detail of the flowers and stuff in it. So
that right there is cool, though. I like that.
Yeah, I like little whimsical projects like that you have the detail and then you can put them together, so to speak. Steve has a lot of patterns like that.
Yeah.
I think it was off of Steve's site. I got a sleigh last year, and I think I cut some of the pieces out, but didn't get a chance to finish it up. But this year, I don't know. I mean,
I like little models, little things that kind of modeled, more like model than an art piece.
Like that plane that you just showed, that's really cool. I love that.
Yeah.
There's actually as much fun in designing a pattern like that as there is in making it, because you're trying to, I just start out with a basic picture off of Amazon, and then to get the scale right on the wings and everything can be kind of fun just to play with it and try to get it right.
Do you do it on paper, or do you use a specific?
No, I do everything in Corel Draw.
Yeah,
but you got to realize I've used Corel Draw literally every day for 12 years. Well, so you get really fast.
I'm looking on eBay at a Corel Draw 2018 graphics suite official full version updates. Now I guess it says updates.
Yeah, that's the update.
$39.
No, that's the updates.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can
have you ever heard of the Elgato Stream Deck?
Yeah.
What do you think about that compared to your keyboard thing that you use?
It's two things. It's better for live streamers. The keyboard that I use, if you marry this keyboard with AutoHotkey, which is a third-party macro generator, you can do more with what I have. But for live streamers, the Elgato's better.
Yeah, that's what I bought. I got the Elgato Stream Deck for doing my Twitch shows. And guess what? If I do my Twitch, and if I don't do my Twitch shows anymore, pretty well that's out of the.
You can't use them at all on YouTube.
I don't know. I haven't tried it as of yet. I might be able to. We'll see. So
well, you had your 4 cameras though. I seen it looked really nice.
That's not the Elgato Stream Deck. The Elgato Stream Deck allows you to, like, if I want to take a pause, I can hit the button and it comes up, be right back. And
so you can use multiple cameras on YouTube. I didn't think you could.
Yeah.
No, you have to use the software.
Got it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
And
Got
the
it.
Stream Deck is a separate entity of the what's the software, Al?
OBS.
Yeah, OBS.
OBS.
Yeah. So you have OBS software, which you can use the 4 cameras on, but then the Stream Deck software works with OBS to be able to transfer between things.
Got it. Yep.
Steve, would you drop that URL in the inside chat, please?
Yeah. This is the home and student version, and the way CorelDRAW does this for the home and student, you don't have to be an educator or a student to buy this, so you don't have to show proof of that. It's just their home version.
Well, I happen to be both, so
yeah, he works, or he teaches at a school, so he's a.
When it comes to software, everybody has to use what they've been using for years, because I love that VCarve Pro, but when I go to my sign software, I could do a pattern in 1/10 of the time because it's what you're used to.
Well, it's like Easel. It's like Easel. Easel is getting better, I have to say, but it doesn't have a lot of stuff that you would have in other things. But you figure out ways to make it work in Easel, and you start getting used to it. And yeah,
it's very simple, and that's good for somebody starting out, something like that.
Hey, Steve.
We have a question for Steve.
Yeah. Aussie Man wants to know if you used Coyote Stencil Shop, and what do you think of it for making patterns?
Okay, this is going to get touchy.
Yeah, I know.
In public.
I'm going to sit back and eat some popcorn.
It's an interesting program, and at one point it worked. He sent me a version of it, probably been about a year ago now, the updated version, and it has so many fatal bugs in it that I just can't recommend it. I contacted him back about the bugs to tell him that I wasn't going to do the review, and he pretty well just told me they knew there were bugs and they were working on them, but I haven't seen a new version come out yet. So it's an interesting idea. You still need to, it will auto-generate your portrait patterns to a certain extent, but you'll get a fairly rough pattern. It will eliminate the dropouts that you would have, doing it manually in a paint program. So it's smart enough to not give you the dropouts. But you still, if you want the really fine detail, like a Charles Deering pattern or something like that, you're still going to go back and do hours of work. Portrait patterns take longer than any other scroll saw pattern, other than maybe an Intarsia pattern. They take a long time because there's so many cutouts and you have to pay attention to each one of them. But I'm not a fan of Coyote. I used to be. I used to think it was pretty cool, but it's just, it don't work.
And then
especially for $100 and something.
Yeah. Then Jim Bashir's asked, so if you use Inkscape now, what would be better in Corel? All right. So Inkscape is good. I used it for a long time before I stumbled across Corel, and actually Steve was the one that led me into CorelDRAW. And Inkscape can probably do, what'd you say, 70–80% of what Corel can do, Steve?
Yeah. If I absolutely had to use Inkscape, I would go do it. But it's like the difference between driving a VW and a Porsche.
Yes. It's just CorelDRAW makes things so much simpler in little macros. I mean, you just touch this button, do this, where you have to go through certain steps to get Inkscape to do the same thing.
Right. Yeah. Well, hey, Steve, thank you very much for helping me spend my $75.
You buy.
Way, Amazon was the way to do it. They've got at the Fab Lab, the maker space up at the college, they've got Corel. So I really need it because I go back and forth and stuff. And I've used it. I've used it to make for a vinyl cutter, the Doctor Who logo on top, man, it was awesome. Boom, it just traced it. It was done.
Yeah, well, some of them
draws it will auto trace.
Yeah, some softwares have excellent auto trace, so it all depends. And then you got the learning curve, and I used Corel years ago, and that's got a good learning curve, because if you're new, you can learn things quicker on there than like Blender. Well, now you're talking. That's crazy, you know, the learning curve.
I've used Corel Draw back when it was Corel 6. I had an offset printing business. I would do business cards in it for some reason. I just got used to doing the setup and stuff. It's really good. I just have gotten used to using other things. But
now look at the inside chat.
It's auto trace on the Corel Draw has over the years. It's just to me gotten better and better and better.
Yeah, it definitely keeps getting better.
And then they each year add some stuff to it. That just keeps getting better and better. I don't know. I'm like Steve. Once he told me about it, and I purchased the first version, which was I think I purchased probably 4, maybe 3 or 4 when I first started using it. And if you're using Inkscape, it doesn't take you long at all to learn to use Corel Draw. They're so similar that just the tools are a little bit different, and once you pick up on what it is, that you'll just fly right through.
Look at my screen real quick, and I'll do a 30-second tutorial, Russ.
Go ahead. I've got it locked on.
This picture right here, I just downloaded off of Google, right? It's just a silhouette, and it's a bitmap. So if you zoom in on the edges, you'll see you get this stair-stepping, which doesn't work very good as a pattern. So what you can do, you could manually trace this, or in Corel Draw, you can just go up here to quick trace. And now when I break this apart, now I've got this piece right here. And I put the yellow background just so you can see I got rid of the white. So now I have this fine detail. Look at the fine line that I've got here. So
is that already considered a vector now?
It is now a vector because it's now a trace. If you look, I just put a black outline on it. So if you need a fine line to cut a scroll saw pattern, then you've got a perfectly fine line. So in just a matter of seconds, I imported this image into Corel Draw, turned it into a vector, and then of course you could come and grab a font. Now let's do this. And we could take this font and attach it to the pattern. And I'm not going to do anything special here, but you can see I welded it to that pattern. Now, of course, you couldn't cut that out, but I could have put it all together. We could put a base on it real quick. So you can see just in a matter of minutes, if you want to design scroll saw patterns, you're done.
Yep. Remind me not to invite Steve back because he kind of like takes over the program.
You know what? That's exactly what Russ did. That's
no, but
how to use Corel.
He is absolutely right. If once you learn, and I've done a few of them like that when I've showed how to do it, once you learn it and get proficient at it, it's just like boom. I've had so many people. Donna Presley's asked me to fix a few things for her or make a pattern for her, and a few others that are my good friends that I'll do stuff like that for. So don't think you're going to ask me to make a pattern for you and send me an email. I'm going to do it. But my point is I've done that, but they'll send me stuff and I'm like, wow, this takes like 5 seconds to do. But anyone out there can get very proficient and make patterns very fast using Corel Draw. And here's the second thing. All you've got to do is go to YouTube and type in Corel Draw tutorials, and there are tons of tutorials out there that you can pick from on the fonts and how to do this and how to do that. And trust me, I even use them sometimes to learn how to do different. If a Corel Draw comes out with a new feature, I'll go on there and watch some of those videos just to learn how to do it.
A guy named Doug Green, who does a series of YouTube videos, and his are very short. He usually keeps them under 2 or 3 minutes, and he'll just take one tool or one technique and do a video on that. He's really good.
And that $59 for that is nothing, because years ago them softwares were they were crazy what they cost when they first
the full
came
version
out.
of Corel Draw is $400.
Yeah, but I mean that you can buy a basic now. That $59, that's a great deal. I mean, it's nothing.
Yeah.
What are
And-
y'all sending over there in the chats too?
Yeah.
Oh, Al's causing trouble.
Yeah. He always-
Causing trouble over there on the inside chat.
Yeah.
I ain't got my damn glasses because I can't see what y'all are doing.
Al,
Do I need to step in here and do something?
I know what Al's good for looking for.
Now you know what to get him for Christmas.
Are they cheering public keys for the Corel draw?
Huh?
Yeah, don't do that.
No, you get in trouble.
Yeah.
No,
They're out there.
The link Al put on there.
Yeah. No, Steve, I bought the one that you sent me.
Okay.
That's on the way. That's on the way.
The one I bought though last year was like $35, and it was an instant download for the Corel Suite 2018. And I'll tell you, I haven't had any problems with it. And it had the key and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's not what I
Steve
sent.
French is signing out there. Good night, Steve French. I appreciate you being out there watching. Yeah, we've hung on quite a bit. What time is it? It's like almost 10 o'clock. Wow, we went almost 2
You gotta
hours.
move, and you got to move the clocks ahead too.
I know. Yeah.
Spring forward,
folks.
I'm going to lose an hour.
We don't
of my
gain an
beauty-
hour?
I'm going to lose an hour of my beauty sleep.
Yes, yes. Every hour that never mind.
It ain't gonna hurt you.
They ain't gonna help much either. So.
Don't hurt us.
you can take that a couple different ways.
I'm so pretty, it ain't going to hurt.
Well, I can only do so much.
Nobody asked you.
I mean, it's only 60 minutes.
No wonder his name is Steve is good. No, it's Steve good, not Steve is good.
You ought to do
Blowing his damn head up. It's so big right now. It's pathetic.
Katie are these sharing shows once a month.
Said the Joker to the thief. Only the Joker to the thief.
You know what I think is fantastic about it, and I will blow his head up a little bit more though. Is this man produces? How many patterns you got on your website now? About 1,500, 2,000?
About 3,000.
3,000. Okay, see how far I'm off? 3,000 patterns this man has on his website, scrollsawwoodshop.blogspot.com, and all of them are free.
Workshop.
Every one of them.
If you're gonna puff me, at least say the right word. Just
I said scrollsawwoodshop.blogspot.com.
It's workshop.
Workshop.
Chuck, I mean, Russ needs that.
The sign's right behind him. How can you miss it?
So anyway,
Russ is losing control, guys.
y'all just shut up. I want to mute every one of you permanently. So anyway, but he produces patterns almost on a daily basis, pretty much. So I mean, and that's the reason I was telling people when I was up there doing the Rockler thing, I told him to send me some dang business cards because I got tired of telling people how to find him. You say that long word, scrollsawworkshop.blogspot.com, and they go like, what? So I just told them, just write down Steve Good, do a Google search, and you'll find him. So, but I know that's fantastic. And I think it's wonderful that he does that because he's, ever since I've known the man, I can honestly tell you all he's done is try to promote woodworking, scroll saw making, 90% scroll saw, but making and trying to share that with others so that others could learn learn scroll saw and have a good time and be creative and do something with it.
I get invited to a lot of seminars and stuff, Russ, and I got invited to one the other day that you need to go with me on.
Okay.
They said that when we land at the airport, we still have about a 6 to an 8 hour car ride, depending on road conditions. It's in Upper Siberia.
Russ is the first one there, buddy.
Oh, yeah.
It's a shop class, and the shop teacher's got about 30 students. It's an all-male school, and they use my patterns in the shop class, but they only have one powered scroll saw. All the rest of the students use a fret saw to cut the patterns.
Ooh. Oh my God.
No way.
They've invited me to come, and I want to go so bad.
Oh, that would be fun as crap.
Yeah.
What would be fun as crap is to have here, how come I think these weird things? First off, what would be fun as crap is to have about 10 DeWalt scroll saws dropped off there. What would be bad was to find out they only have one plug in the whole shop.
Well, it literally is just about as rural as you can imagine. Right. Their power to the building, it would be very limited, but you're right, it would be fun.
That's what I said.
Yeah, but if you can get someone to donate 10 scroll saws, I'm sure you can get someone to throw in a generator for them.
Yeah.
A pile of extension cords.
Yeah. But they got 10 scroll saws and one plug. Yeah. Like,
but it's cool. The only English words these kids know are Steve Good. So that's
nice.
Very nice.
That's fantastic when you do a lot to promote, scroll sawing out there and have so many patterns. That is just, I think it's fantastic.
Well, Russell, if you go with them, don't get upset when Steve Good's portrait is up on the wall too. So
yeah.
right next to
they all start going, ooh, all the folks in the room.
They think he's the president.
Yeah.
It'd be me and Stalin.
Yeah, exactly. There's the president, there's Steve Good, and there's Stalin.
Hey, this is even better. You got his next to Putin. You got good Putin. Think about that for a minute, will you? Think about that one.
That was good, Russ.
Point for Russ.
I think it's about time for your song, Russ.
If you don't eat your pudding.
I think we crossed the line.
No, it didn't. That was funny as hell. Yeah, it is about time to get off, though. We've dwindled down from almost 50 people down to 26. So
it's a loyal fan base.
Yeah, the 26 just going to stick it out to the end. But
just want to see how low we go. That's all.
They probably fell asleep.
Well, we just hit rock bottom.
Right. They're just lurking. They're just lurking.
You got to have the
people
after
go to
scenes.
NASCAR. They just want to see the crash.
They'll pay for the after scenes, behind the scenes.
Hey, Russ, no kidding though. You ought to do these sharing shows like once a month and have people send in pictures throughout the whole month.
Yeah, I like it too.
I think that's what I'm going to start doing, setting it on a schedule basis.
Yeah, that would be cool.
For each month that this show is, and then post it out there that on like a calendar with these shows. You know what I'm saying? These shows, send your pictures in, and we'll post them or we'll talk about them that show.
That would be fun.
Yeah. I think
that
is good. We were doing that for a while. We were doing the showing off everybody's website, or people that would send in their websites. We'd go talk about their website. We need to do that one. Maybe not. Maybe do that one every other month. But I do like the project things. I think I will start making that and put it down that this show every month. And so that way everybody knows that if they don't have anything to do that month, they can send it in the next month.
And when they send in the picture, ask them maybe if they could give like a half a paragraph detail of where they got the pattern and some stuff like that. That would be
You're
cool.
all going to say they got it. Steve Good, Steve Good, Steve Good, Steve Good, Steve Good.
That's why I'll go through and edit it and just get rid of all that information.
You replace it with his name.
Yeah. He don't know where.
Found online. Found online.
Found online. Found online. So,
well, Steve, you're going to have some competition now. I got Corel Draw coming.
Cool.
I think between you and Russ, you guys could put on some more shows about how to use Corel Draw.
When I started my blog, Paul, that was the intent of starting the blog, is I was going to teach people how to do patterns, but they were so unpopular that I stopped doing it. What I found out real quick is nobody really wants to know how to do it. They want to know, but they want it to be osmosis where they sleep overnight and it just happens.
Yeah.
So
I always fall asleep in front of the computer and then wake up and
they don't want to take the time to actually learn.
Yeah. I have people on a daily basis will email me about making custom patterns for them, and they're always shocked to know that what they want to do is more complicated than they think it is. It's not that simple scroll saw patterns aren't easy to do; they are, but nobody wants something simple. Everybody wants something pretty elaborate, and so it does take a little time to get all the techniques down to do the more complex stuff. But the simple stuff, like taking one of my patterns and adding your name to it, is a 2-minute deal.
Right. Yeah. What was that pattern you made? Excuse the mess, I live here, and I change it to excuse the sawdust, or something.
Well, on my patterns, I make sure, even though I distribute them as PDFs, I make sure that the pages that the pattern are on inside the PDF remain as vectors. So you can import that PDF right into CorelDRAW and just, totally change the pattern just like you were starting it from scratch.
Right.
And I do that intentionally for the CNC and the laser guys because it's easier for them, but it also works for the scroll saw people too.
Yeah. I did that, and I don't have my thing to.
Excuse the mess. I make sawdust here.
Yeah, excuse the mess. I make sawdust here.
There's so many people that if they're not in this hobby, they don't understand. I get a lot of jobs, and it takes a lot of hours of CAD work, one way or another, signs or 3D printing. They just don't understand how long it takes, and it's like you got to charge them automatically $100 just because of the time with the CAD work.
Hey,
2
my
hours
shop
CAD work.
didn't get this messy overnight.
Yeah.
No, it does. I mean, it does take a little bit more time than what people are thinking about. But buy the damn pattern. I mean, if you don't want to sit down, and that's what people do and create it, then buy the damn pattern and pay somebody to make it for you. But don't bitch about if they ask you $20 for a pattern that you had to custom build for them. Don't bitch about it. Otherwise, just go make it on your own.
Well, most of the custom patterns people want are portrait style patterns, and they take by far the longest.
Oh, I know.
I don't know, but for free, and this is Steve Goods, for free, you can't, I don't know, you can't get better than this. I haven't seen anything anywhere that's as cool as this is. And
I wish you'd quit showing that, because I'm very likely to get a cease and desist.
I don't know where I got this. I have no idea. But anyway, I love it. Hey, thank you, whomever did it.
Have you tried 3D printing that out?
No, I haven't. This is as far as, well, actually, it fell off. The glue broke off. It fell off.
Yeah, that's what it was. You did the one that excuse the mess, I live here, and I did the one that excuse the mess, I make sawdust here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I'm going to bail out on you guys. I'm about to fall asleep here.
Oh, is that boring? Damn.
No, I'm just that tired today.
Oh. Well,
it's not a reflection on you this time.
You wouldn't be enough fun to take out all night.
That's right.
Good night, Katie.
Good night.
Hi, Katie.
Love you. Good night. Yeah, we're going to wrap it up here. It's getting, it is 10 o'clock. It's 10 minutes after 10. So.
After 10 now.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm ready to wrap it up, but thank you all. And we still got 27 people out there. We had 26, we gained one. So watching it. And so I appreciate that. Jeff Robinson is still out there with us. Matt Haas, Aussie Man, Dan Inge from Dan Ingebritsen. Aussie Man, I think I just said him, still out there. Jim Bashirs is still out there. Luana Pierce. I'll get it right one of these days. If anybody's going to butcher a name, I'll butcher it. Trust me. I used to call Brenda Debbie all the damn time. So, Luana Pierce, is that right, Luana? Yeah. Okay. So, Driveways Workshop. I don't know why I have so many problems with names. It's a pronunciation that just kills me. It's like tomato, potato, patata. I mean, you know, Rockler.
Rockler.
Yeah, so it's like
nuclear.
Yeah.
Brenda, Debbie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so close.
Oh, wow.
Now I ain't got no excuse for that. I don't know why she always felt like she was Debbie to me. But we did that for the longest time.
That sounds like a girlfriend from days gone by.
You know,
Yeah.
Brenda's end. It looks like she's she's wearing these black tights and she's got her knees up.
Oh yeah. It does.
My microphone, is that what you're
Yeah.
talking about?
Yeah.
Look like your knees up
You
there.
had knees up or something.
I couldn't get my knee that high.
Look at Russ.
All right, I gotta tell you this little story, right? I gotta tell you this little story that happened to me the other day and my wife. I was standing in the kitchen. I was getting ice out of the ice maker machine, right? Fixing me some ice water. And I pulled my cup out a little too quick because the one thing of ice fell on the floor. Well, I didn't know my wife was like standing in behind me, right? So I seen that ice down. Oh, damn, I'm picking it up. I kicked it underneath the refrigerator, and she's standing there. What did you just do? And I went, what?
Busted.
She said, did you just kick that underneath the refrigerator? I said, it's friggin' ice. It'll melt and go away. Come on, give me a break. I'm like, I'm getting too fat to bend over and pick up a damn piece of ice. I can't.
The spiders need water too.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I was like,
Did you make him move the refrigerator?
I've got to tell this one because Steve Good didn't hear this, and I'll do. Everybody got 5 more minutes because we'll go 5 more minutes. Steve, I've got a woodshop confession for myself, and I told this earlier to some of the guys, and they're really like laughing their ass off. Okay, so I went through this period of time, before we had the ultra reverse blades, we got a lot of tear out on the back. Well, a lot of people were saying take a torch and just burn the little fuzzies off the back, especially if you're using Baltic plywood, you'll take the torch, burn off all the back and everything. So I'm like, hey, I have to try that, Now, this is years ago. Don't get me wrong. So I'm in there and I put the pattern on, I scroll out the project and I take it out there and then I take my mineral spirits and I put it all over the pattern and I get my pattern off and I wipe down the pattern real good and get all the glue and everything off and I fire the torch off and I start burning off the fuzzies and that sucker goes woof. Yeah. I neglected to wait an hour or so till the mineral spirits dried out, and that sucker just caught fire in my hand. I had to drop it, and it fell on the floor, and there it goes. It burns up into a nice little pile of ashes.
Yep. Well, I'll tell you another quick story, not a workshop story, but real similar. I was putting down tiles in a bathroom one time. I bought the little square tiles, the cheap ones, because we were poor at the time. And so I went in there and took the old linoleum up, and I'd spent all day putting these tiles down. I was just standing back all proud of myself. And when I had got the linoleum up, there was a bunch of glue on the floor from where they had put the linoleum down. And I was in there sanding the glue off, and my wife came in and said, that's stupid. Why don't you just get some glue remover or something and put it on there and wipe it up? So I did. I wiped it all up. Well, I didn't wait for that stuff to dry before I put down sticky tiles. And about 2 hours after I put them in, my daughter come in and said, you better come look at this. Every tile turned up just like a shell.
Yeah.
You got to let it dry.
Yeah.
Yep. As soon as you said that, I knew where this was going.
Yeah. Aussie Man says you think a fireman would know better. Yes, you're right. Yeah. You're right. You would think that I would have known. I just wasn't thinking. I was thinking like, burn all the fuzzies. That's a good idea because you know how long it takes to get all those back in the day before the ultra reverse blades.
Yeah.
You had to work to get those fuzzies off, and I'm like, damn, I'll just burn them all off. So I was running out there, took the pattern off, and fired off the torch and stuck it to it.
It actually does work. You just can't put kerosene on it first.
Well, yeah. And you need to let the mineral spirits evaporate for a little while. I mean, it's not like you take the pattern off, you wipe the thing down, it's still wet and dripping with mineral spirits when you apply the torch.
Hey, one kind of sad note that I want to run by before we get off here. I recently had a good friend and a very long-time woodworker here in Lexington pass away, and he was diagnosed with pulmonary fibrosis upon death, and they're almost certain it was wood dust that got him. So wear your dust mask.
Yeah. Yeah, wear your dust mask. That's it. Good. All right, guys, we're going to cut out of here. I appreciate you being all on here. Brenda, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Chris, Dixon,
Yes,
John.
sir.
John, you've been really quiet tonight.
He's been muted the whole time. That's why.
Yeah, well,
I have. I don't know.
All right.
Hey, it's been tough. I've kept my finger on his mute button for an hour now.
But
Thank
good
you.
to have you out of the hospital, back home, and see you.
It's
And
great to be here.
congratulations on the stopping smoking. Good job.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Good for you, John.
Yeah, good for you. Very good. John has been a friend for quite some time, so I look forward to having him on the show every time he shows up. So, and thank you, Al, and then Paul and Russ Meadows, and a good thank you to my friend Steve Good. I appreciate all you being here on the panel tonight, and all y'all out there in the chat. Y'all make it all worth possible and all worth doing. When I see all your lovely little names out there, which I antiquate with your little faces, Aussie Man and Matt Haas and Jumbo Shears and Luana and Dan Inge and Ken McCrory, all y'all guys that have been out there, Jeff Robinson, who's been out there all night long. I appreciate you very much. There's only one thing we need to do, and that is when the sun comes peeping up.
Nope.
Wrong song.
Mixed up all of a sudden for
I'm a lumberjack. Yes, I am.
I work all day. Just give me sawdust, lots of sawdust all around me and everywhere. I like it flying all around my shop and even in my beard and hair. And one day my brain will get better and I'll stop forgetting what I'm supposed to do. Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Night, Joe.
Good night, everyone.
Don't forget to make your donations to the Brain Fund. So remember, you don't have to go home, but you cannot stay here.
No,
Absolutely
you can't.
not.
Good night, everyone.
Night, boys and girls. Live along.